traders, and welcome to Multi-FX Automation. Today's tutorial we're going to touch on support and resistance, which is one of the most critical bits of knowledge you need to have as a trader. So if you're serious about reading charts and understanding this concept is going to be key no matter what strategy you use. Whether if you're an intraday trader, or a swing trader, Fibonacci trader, Elliott web trader trying to find points of confluence, it doesn't really matter. This topic, it's the key, the crust of it all. Okay, so it's important for you to know how to find key supports and resistance. There are two types of support and resistance. The major support areas are usually found on some of the highest peaks in the charts, right? So that'll be a key resistance area. Over here, you'll probably have a key support area, right? And in between, you've got minor supports and resistance. Now, what is really important to know is that prices tend to bounce around support and resistance areas, okay? Now, support and resistance is not always a very straightforward horizontal line. It's usually a zone, right? So we can consider that a zone, and there are multiple areas that one can say there's a zone. You could probably say this area here is another zone, okay, where prices oscillate and bounce off, these areas over here, right? More often than not, these areas are around, round numbers. So this area, it's a key number, 1.0500. This area over here, for example, is, it's around 1.1200. So anything ending in round zero numbers, they're usually your key levels to look out for, right? From experience, I know the Euro USD usually bounces on the major zones, bounces around those key levels, right? So do remember that. The big round numbers, right? They're usually your key levels. Now, let's draw some, talk about resistance, right? Resistance is normally a price for the levels where there's a lot of selling pressure, right? And vice versa. When you get key support areas is when there's a lot of buying pressure, okay? And so let's draw some key levels, okay? So the way I do plot my key levels, normally you start on a daily, and then that usually draws those key levels for the lower time frames. I like to use the Bill Williams fractals indicator purely because visually it puts together areas. It draws an arrow usually where it finds some of the peaks, right? Usually it draws a fractal indicator when there's a high high and two lower lows, just beside it, right? This is usually how you get a fractal, but we can touch on this a little bit more later on. Now, if we zoom out, okay, you'll find some key support areas. You could probably say that there's a key support zone in that space, and the more he touches those support zones, it validates those areas of support. Now, to draw resistance, let's say I would probably say that resistance, one could probably find a number of touch areas. Move the chart a little bit. Let me see if we can find more key resistance and support areas. You find, right, support areas there. You'll find a support area there, but then support area on the way up becomes a resistance area. So what's crucial to know is that when prices come back down, it bounces from support areas and vice versa. Now, there's different strategies that we can touch on later on how do you trade these areas of support and resistance. Um, but for now, we'll leave it there. But at least you know how to draw support and resistance on your chart. And the more you practice, the better you get to it. The more number of times a support or resistance area is touched, that validates that those are the key areas to be focused on. Anything else in between, they're just minor, right? You still have to look into it, but they're just minor key and support areas. Probably more important for the intraday traders. But if you focus on the 1 hour or daily, those areas are minor. Okay, hopefully you got something out of this video, but we'll keep on expanding on this topic a little bit more and with a couple of strategies. Thanks all. Bye.